The phone vibrated on the kitchen counter, its buzz slicing through the stillness of the midnight apartment like a scream. I froze, my hand hovering over the kettle, steam curling around my fingers. The screen glowed with the name Mark. My wife's ex. At 12:17 a.m. My pulse thudded in my ears, a primal rhythm warning me to look away, to pretend I hadn't seen it. But the message preview burned into my retinas. Can't stop thinking about you. The plan? The kettle screeched, and I yanked it off the stove, my hands trembling as the world tilted. Lila was upstairs, supposedly asleep. We'd been married 3 years, together for 5, and I thought I knew her. The way her laugh crinkled her nose, how she'd hum jazz tunes while cooking, her fierce loyalty to me, to us. But that name Mark was a ghost from her past. A man she'd sworn was irrelevant. A chapter closed before we met. Why was he texting her now? And what was this plan? My mind churned, conjuring excuses. A wrong number, a misunderstanding, a harmless catch-up. But the hour, the secrecy, it gnawed at me like a splinter under skin. I set the kettle down, the metal clinking softly against the counter. The apartment felt too small, the air thick with the scent of chamomile tea and something heavier, doubt. I glanced at the staircase, half expecting Lila to appear, her dark hair tousled, asking why I was up so late. But the house was silent, save for the faint hum of the fridge. My fingers itched to unlock her phone to read the full message, but guilt stopped me. We trusted each other, didn't we? The next morning, Lila was her usual self, sipping coffee at the breakfast table, her green eyes scanning her tablet. "You look tired," she said, her voice soft but edged with concern. "Work stressing you out again?" I forced a smile, my stomach twisting. Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about stuff. The lie tasted bitter. I wanted to ask about Mark, to demand why he was texting her at midnight, but the words stuck in my throat. What if I was wrong? What if I sounded paranoid, accusing her of something she hadn't done? Instead, I watched her, searching for cracks in her calm. A nervous glance, a too quick smile. Nothing. She was perfect as always. Days passed and the text haunted me. I started noticing things I'd brushed off before. Lila's phone was always face down now, her passcode changed last month, just because. She'd been working late, claiming deadlines at the gallery where she curated exhibits, but her stories were vague: meetings with clients, drinks with colleagues. I'd nod, swallowing the unease, telling myself I was overreacting. But then I'd see her typing furiously, her face lit by the screen's glow, and my chest would tighten. One evening while she showered, I couldn't resist. Her phone sat on the coffee table unguarded. My heart pounded as I picked it up, the device cold against my palm. I typed the new passcode, her birth year, a guess, and it unlocked. My breath caught as I opened her messages. The thread with Mark was gone, deleted. But there was a new one with a contact labeled M. No last name. I scrolled, my eyes burning as I read. "Meet me at the loft tomorrow, 8 p.m. He won't suspect." And her reply, "I'll be there. I need this." Need what? My vision blurred, the words swimming. The shower stopped and I locked the phone, my hands shaking as I set it back exactly as I'd found it. That night I lay beside her, her breathing soft and steady, while my mind spiraled. Was she cheating? Planning to leave me? Or was it something else, something worse? I remembered Mark from her stories. Charming, reckless, a geneticist with a sharp mind and sharper ambition. She'd left him because he was too intense, she'd said, but there was always a flicker in her eyes when she mentioned him. A mix of regret and something I couldn't name. Now that flicker felt like a warning. The next evening Lila kissed me goodbye, her lips cool against mine. "Late meeting at the gallery," she said, her smile effortless. "Don't wait up." I nodded, my throat tight, and watched her leave, her coat swishing as she stepped into the dusk. I waited 10 minutes, then grabbed my keys. I had to know. The loft was in a gritty part of town, a converted warehouse with dim streetlights casting long shadows. I parked a block away, my heart hammering as I spotted her car. The building's windows glowed faintly, and I crept closer, the air sharp with the scent of damp concrete and rust. Through a cracked window I heard voices, hers low and urgent, and his smooth and commanding. I couldn't make out words, but the intimacy in their tones cut deeper than any blade. My knees buckled and I leaned against the wall, the rough brick scraping my palm. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen, listening to fragments of their conversation. Better for the future. He doesn't understand. Each phrase was a shard of glass, slicing through the life I thought we had. I wanted to barge in, to scream, to demand answers, but my body wouldn't move. Instead, I pulled out my phone and started recording, capturing their muffled voices, the damning evidence of her betrayal. Back home, I played the audio, my hands trembling as I listened. His DNA isn't optimal, Mark said, his voice clinical. You want the best for your child, don't you? Lila's reply was soft, almost broken. I love him, Mark, but you're right. Your heritage, your genes, it's superior. The words hit like a fist, knocking the air from my lungs. She wanted a child, not with me but with him. Because of his better DNA. The room spun and I clutched the counter, bile rising in my throat. I confronted her when she got home, her face pale as she stepped through the door. What's this? I played the audio, watching her eyes widen then narrow. You spied on me? She snapped, but her voice shook. Tell me I'm wrong, I said, my voice breaking. Tell me you're not planning to have a kid with him because of his DNA. She sank onto the couch, her hands twisting in her lap. It's not what you think, she whispered, but her eyes wouldn't meet mine. Mark, he's been helping me. We've been talking about options. I didn't want to hurt you. Options. I laughed, the sound raw and ugly. You're sneaking around with your ex, talking about his superior genes. How is that not betrayal? Tears spilled down her cheeks, but she didn't deny it. I want a family, Tom. But we've been trying and it's not working. Mark offered a solution. Artificial insemination. No cheating, just science. Her words should have soothed me, but they didn't. They were a different kind of betrayal, a rejection of me, of us, of everything I thought we were. You didn't trust me enough to tell me, I said, my voice barely audible. You chose him over me. She reached for me, but I stepped back, the distance between us a chasm. The audio still played in my mind, her voice agreeing with him, choosing his heritage over our love. I walked out, the door slamming behind me, the sound echoing like the end of everything. In the days that followed, I replayed that night, wondering if I'd overreacted, if I could have listened more, fought harder. But the truth was uglier than infidelity. Lila had weighed my worth and found me lacking, not in love but in biology. And that cut deeper than any affair.